Love 15.
And a good morning to Tom Woodbridge as well, who's made his way from the studio to courtside.
Good morning, Petch and Jim. Nice to be here. And a bit of excitement around this because it's a big match with a bit of... expectation on Hubert Hurkacz, and that young man on screen has had a brilliant United Cup. He's really coming along nicely.
See what he can do when he does have time on the shots. Just thumps that two-hander and a nice stick volley, and there's early tension in a Hurkacz service game here at Love 30. Petch, what are the things that our viewers should be looking for out of Shevchenko's shot selection bag? What's he got? What are his best assets?
Well, I think he plays quite close to the baseline, which I think his court positioning is excellent. I love his backhand down the line, personally. I'm interested to see how much damage he does with his forehand today against somebody like Hurkacz. That will be the area that perhaps he's not quite as proficient in at the moment that he needs to be.
Yeah, both of these players a little more stable on their two-handed backhands. The forehands can go up and down the elevator. Sometimes there's some great stuff. Sometimes it's a little bit troubling. But that first serve tends to be pretty darn reliable from Hurkacz.
And it's going to be interesting to see early on here Shevchenko whether he's going to do that, which was pretty much a guess on the return off the first serve, or he's going to try and hold his balance and spring one way or the other. A little hop to the left, he was on that one, and he did have a little mini opportunity, as Jim said, but it slides by. Team Poland up and running.
We've talked about Hubert Hurkacz and the changes that he has been making in the offseason to his team. There's Nicolas Massou, his coach from Chile, and that's going to be the head coach of his team. He's also brought on board Ivan Lendl as a consultant, so Lendl might travel a little bit. We don't know that yet, but it's going to be Massou who's going to be doing the lion's share of the work on the court. There's the win predictor. Hurkacz, the big favorite at 81%. But for Hurkacz, it's a big change, leaving the comfort of Craig Boyton. They had a wonderful run together. Craig will resurface with another player for sure. Too good of a coach with too good of a track record to not be on tour. Look forward to seeing him back out here, but looking forward to seeing how this develops with Hubie, with his new team, and especially that new racket. Played with Yonex for his pro career. Wore Yonex shoes and clothes as well, now with Adidas for the apparel, and a Wilson racket. So that's a pretty big change for a player to change brands. Changing within the same brand, not normally as difficult, going from one Yonex racket to another. It's a different shape to that. Yonex a little more rectangular, this one an oval.
15.
Good example of what Tilbury was talking about prior to the match. Not everybody perhaps was looking at the studio, but he was talking about Shevchenko's pretty predictable second serve into that side, and you could see Hurkacz already trying to latch onto it. It's a slightly awkward motion that Shevchenko gets. It's not going to hit the top speeds that Hurkacz does.
15.
Yeah, we talk a fair bit, and we have done this week, about the return of Hurkacz. And I think one of the things that I notice when he's returning is that he doesn't seem to really target a specific spot where he wants the ball to land. He kind of just hits it up and into the court, trying to make it. I'd love to see him really hone in. Like, he does it more off that backhand side. But just in this match, if he could pick 3 or 4 spots, no more than that, and just try to hit them. One could be hard, deep through the center. that backhand go hard, cross court, and then maybe there's something off the forehand where he just pushes it deep and gets it in, and just simplify it a little bit. Do that, then he can really build pressure because he obviously holds his serve so comfortably.
And he'll find himself up there today.
Use.
Doesn't do enough with the forehand and pays the price. A terrific pass on the full run from Hurkacz, but Shevchenko had a ball that he should have buried this one, and it lacked speed and it lacked precision. Hurkacz very precise with that two-hander, and here comes the first break point of the match.
Big occasion, and Hurkacz handles the opening stages of it better than Shevchenko.
Team Poland is 2 games to love. Love 15.
Jimmy talk often about going to a player's kind of stronger shot or trying to open up the court. If you were playing against Hubert Hurkacz, would you direct even more traffic than normal into that forehand side?
I think so. I think so. He's missed a lot of forehands in this event. Going down the line, he's been trying to be more proactive with his forehand. That's probably some instruction from the new coaching team. And he's far more comfortable pulling the ball across his body on the forehand, whether he's on the run going cross court or whether he's in the middle of the court pulling it inside in into his opponent's forehand side. That's a more natural shot for him. That one. But down the line, you could see him just guiding in there because he doesn't have the conviction on that shot to accelerate with his wrist the way that he does cross court. He trusts the cross court shot. So if you can put the ball out into this corner, especially with some pace, I think there's some positional advantage available for Shevchenko. That backhand down the line, perhaps a vital shot today, Petch?
Yeah.
Sergio.
17 out wide on the outside solves a lot of problems. Trying to be impactful, but in the end just hurting himself with that two-hander.
30.
Yeah, the frustration, the hands in the air, primarily because he missed a rally ball. He wasn't even trying to really hurt Hurkacz.
He does have delicate hands. A delightful finish to the third game of the opening set. And all 3 games, to the delight of their fans, have gone to Team Poland. And it's nice to see him making these forays up into the net, and he's looking comfortable, as he should do when you have a serve like his and you've already got an early break and you're halfway through the opening set. Times are good.
Good look at this approach. It's like he's a butterfly net here, just capturing the ball as it comes to his racket. Just accepts the pace, brushes up on it a little bit as he catches it. Look at this racket work. The racket going backwards really is like a butterfly net in a way.
Very important. Your game has to be so much better when you're away with the legs. So much better. So remember, try to be solid, try to be the legs working out together. And then you know how to play. The rest is
Already the need for a fairly intense staff meeting for Shevchenko, having dropped the opening 3 games with his coach Simon. Hasn't been past the second round of a major yet, Shevchenko, despite the success that he's had getting in the World Top 50. But it was a fascinating way that he actually came into tennis. He was on a skiing holiday at the age of 9. His sister actually played at Niki Pilic's academy in Germany. Actually had a few balls, I believe, with Novak Djokovic. She's about 10 years older. He didn't want to ski anymore. You don't have to go on a skiing holiday and you don't want to ski. It's a tough spot to be in. Decided to push his mum to go and hit some tennis balls. Ended up having a lesson with Markus Hipfel, the Austrian, who was a former player, who said, do you know what? I think you hit the ball well enough. You should come and see Günter Bresnik. Of course, Dominic Thiem's former coach, worked with Gael Monfils a bit, one of his idols, incidentally. And the rest is history. Ended up living in Vienna. But perhaps my favourite story was the Phoenix Challenger in 2023, where he forgot to enter, went there with his dad, drove there from Indian Wells. What is that, 5-hour journey or something in the car? I'm not sure, maybe a little less. 3. Turns, well, at your speed, maybe.
Speed limits are pretty quick there. You can drive 85 on that highway, miles an hour. Carry on after this point, of course.
Turns up in Phoenix, there's a baseball game on. No hotel rooms, because he hasn't booked one because he wasn't planning to play. $1,500 a night was the hotel room, so he was planning to sleep in the car with his dad. At 11 p.m, a hotel room popped up on booking.com for $300, grabbed it. Spent the night in the hotel, got out of qualies, had to play Monfils, his idol, in the first round. And then beat Berrettini and Quinton Elise to take his ranking from outside the top 130 to virtually inside the top 100. What a sliding doors moment. The forehand from Hurkacz already looking a little better today.
Well, what I like about it is the direction. He's giving himself the comfort of going to a comfortable spot, so he can be aggressive with the cross-court forehand. So I think that's a great idea to do early on. Get comfortable, and then expand upon that, you know, if the scoreline suits you.
Well, I don't know if Todd Woodbridge is comfortable in the sweltering heat, but I think he's made his way down to the pod where Team Kazakhstan are.
I certainly have, Petch. I've got Jakob Nystrom, one of the great Swedish players of all time, with me, who's working with Alex, and not the ideal start that you would have been hoping for there.
No, definitely not. I mean, he has love 30 twice on Hurkacz serve, and he makes some easy mistakes. I think he's a little nervous from the start, but he needs to pick it up. I mean, you don't get so many chances to break Hurkacz, then you have to be on.
Tell us a little bit about him, because you've worked with him from the academy that you work out of in Stockholm. And chatting to you, he's a good young man.
He's a very nice guy. I mean, he cares about my well-being also, which is nice. And he's a hard worker. He was at Brezhnev's Academy in Vienna from when he was 11, 12, so he knows how to work hard.
And do you make him work hard, Jockey?
I do my best, yes.
And finally, to get back into this, what would you like to see him do here?
No, but I mean, he needs to play solid service games, and then hopefully he gets a chance to break Hurkacz back.
Thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you. Thanks.
Grand Slam doubles champions, no Grand Slam doubles champions. Good Nystrom with Mats Wilander in 1986, winning Wimbledon.
Game Team Poland.
At the moment, the winning is coming from Hurkacz's side of the court. It is 4-1 to Team Poland.
Team Poland is 4 games to 1.
Does show ambition, though, doesn't it, who you hire?
There's no doubt. Hurkacz is committing in a big way right now.
And Shevchenko, to be fair.
And Shevchenko as well. Both committing to some high-level coaches that will come with a cost. So there's an investment on both of these players to try and get to the next level. For Shevchenko, next level is probably getting around 25 in the world and seeing where it goes from there. There's a nice look at the service action of Hubert Hurkacz, and this one didn't fall in the net, fall in the court, but if it did, this was awaiting us. It was going to be a hot shot around the net post from Hurkacz, something I know you quite enjoy, Petch.
I do love a singles net, no doubt, but Shevchenko there is going to have to manage his court position on the return. You could see that was out of his comfort zone, above his shoulder. He's either got to come in closer to the service line or drop deeper. Talked about Hurkacz's experience, of course, the semi-finalist at Wimbledon, beat Federer there, lost to Berrettini in the last 4. And the AO, he's had a couple of tough losses. Back in 23, lost a quarter in 5 sets and a final set breaker. And of course, last year, that epic 4-hour encounter with Daniil Medvedev. He came up short in 5 sets, Hubert Hurkacz. 8 singles titles for him. Most recent coming last year, Estoril on the clay. A couple of times, though, he's claimed a Masters 1000 crown. First in Miami. And then in Shanghai in 2023, saving a championship point against Andrei Rublev. He introduces the ball to the line, and a bit more pressure on Shevchenko's serve in this, the 6th game of the opening set.
Well, we haven't seen him be this patient, have we, throughout the matches so far? He threw in a nice slice backhand, which allowed him in this rally to be able to get some opportunities to dictate with his backhand, but Shevchenko probably needs to push him around the court a little bit more. That's what's been troubling Hubie this week. With the issues he's had with his knees, movement hasn't been perfect, but geez, looking better, much, much better.
Some of that has to be attributed to the confidence he took from beating Great Britain's Billy Harris, too, after losing his opening 2 matches. Lost to Casper Ruud and to Thomas Mahac, who's been in fuego here for Team Czechia. So was low on confidence, Hurkacz. Maybe starting to add to that. That's a magical elixir for an athlete.
14-15.
Lights out tennis from Muchova and Hurkacz yesterday. Stunning. Serve is a problem, isn't it? I would say technically, Todd, and the best players in the world, as we've seen in recent times, like Jannik Sinner, have changed his. You can see some of the leg drive and performance from Hurkacz's particular serve, and you can see the uptick compared to the average on speed and everything else. But it has been a great narrative to watch that the game that you bring onto tour doesn't necessarily have to be the one that you stay with. Jannik serve's been through a number of iterations. I believe that Alcaraz is turning up in Melbourne, and he is going to have a slightly smoother service motion as well as a heavier racket.
Well, you've got to continue to keep working on it, you know, and that's certainly for Shevchenko. That's one of the things, is accuracy on the second serve is not consistent at all. Lovely point. A fascinating bit of info that you've obtained there about Alcaraz. Going to a heavier racket can be quite interesting, particularly with a fast arm like his for the rest of his game. So sometimes you make a change to help one area, but it actually alters sometimes your strength. So I'm keen to watch that.
This is so good from Hurkacz. Just the final point on that. Yeah, Jim, is that it's not just hours on court for Shevchenko. If he's going to get a better serve, he's got to change it technically.
Yeah, I think that's right. And next time he serves, you can lay out exactly what needs to be altered. But we are seeing more and more players make adjustments during the season. Historically, off-season was when the changes would typically be tried to brought into the game. And Hurkacz understanding that his forehand is an area where he can improve, change rackets with the intention to do just that. He's one of the flatter hitters in tennis. This new racket and string setup he's using is giving him 5% more topspin on the forehand. That will be significant for him once he gets a comfort level with it. That'll allow him to be more aggressive, hit the forehand harder with more control, because the topspin, it'll bring it back down into the court.
Well, he's hoping to bring it home for Team Poland today, and this has been an impressive start from Hurkacz in the opening 7 games. He's grabbed 5 of them.
He's 5 games to 2.
Third edition of the United Cup, and it has been through one significant change, of course. When Team USA won it, there were a couple of members on the men's and the women's side and the mixed doubles, so 5 matches in total. It got shortened to its current version right now, and an opportunity for both of the teams that played over in Perth to get a little extra time on the main court here to get used to conditions. It is the house that Ken built, one of the most iconic Australian players of all time. It has made a nice home here, of course. It used to be a ATP WTA event before turning itself into the ATP Cup and then the United Cup. Much calmer Nicholas Massou out there today, Jim.
Well, Massou is an excitable sort. It's a very different energy that he brings compared to Craig Boyton, who's super laid back. I mean, both fantastic coaches, but they have their own styles. And Massou, when he came on board as Dominic Thiem's coach, immediately he was engaged and in there, and his player's biggest fan on the sideline. So bringing that same energy here. Hurkacz a game away from an opening set if he can steal it. New balls for Team Kazakhstan to deliver. What's going on with that service motion, guys? What needs to change for Shevchenko?
Todd?
Is the elbow in the wrong position? What do we got?
Give me another look at it here again.
Put your phone down, Todd. You're such a millennial.
I mean, when you look at it, it's
15 all.
we get a slow bit here. There's a bit of disconnection there. The racket's down low. Takes a long time for it to get even and into that throwing position. But I mean, drives up well. If anything, I mean, I'm interested in his grip ball looks good.
13,
kind of opens the strings down the court, doesn't he? He doesn't sort of take it back sort of with the strings sort of looking to the side.
Yeah, that's exactly one of those things. And also, I think there's a bit of a mindset when I watch him play. He's used it as a point starter, not as a weapon. So in his development, he's seen it as a shot that, okay, I'm going to do this. This gets the point started, and then I'm going to use my ground strokes, as opposed to, you know, somebody like a Hurkacz, because I'm going to win my points with my serve and focuses on that. And that's, you know, a lot has to do with that, how you develop as a younger player and how physically strong you are with how your serve goes.
He's come away with both of those points, but it does make a good point, excuse the pun, that even though he managed to clock one over 200 Ks and that one coming in at 191, it's the location of the serve because of the technique that isn't as precise, and therefore both of them actually came back and he had to work hard to hang on to his serve. Doesn't often take the racket out of his opponent's hands. No,
that's where you talked about the face and the strings. If you can get more shape on the ball, you get more pinpoint accuracy. If you come in with a flat racket face, it's much easier to block back. And we can see that with Hurkacz's serve, the way that his racket approaches the ball.
15 long.
Couple of pretty pedestrian first serves in from Hurkacz, making sure that he made them on this important game as he tries to serve out the set.
I think he must have heard you. Stepped on the gas, 215K to get the triple set point.
One man's pedestrian's another man's Ferrari, let me tell you.
That's true.
For service.
Somebody that had a mini minor of a serve.
Hurkacz has the benefit of being a tall player, right? That helps him be able to have more accuracy with a harder serve than a smaller player. Shevchenko, just about 6'1", 185. That's the set, is what that is. And that is a great start for Team Poland. Hurkacz rounding into form, question mark? Maybe so. He needs...
Interested to see what he can do individually that's impactful against what Hurkacz is doing, or whether he needs a little helping hand from the former top tenor. Accuracy will help. Again, you just wonder whether to get that accuracy, does he trade too much pace? That one drifting in at 168 Ks.
40-30.
Good quality returns from Hurkacz the last couple of points, and Shevchenko backpedaling, unable to find the court. Bigger targets needed there, no need to panic, right through the middle of the court, and then brace for impact on the next shot from Hurkacz.
Team Kazakhstan.
A couple of wonderful serves through the middle on the outside. Seals the opening game of this second set.
First game, second set.
Hurkacz's opponent, Shevchenko's had some good wins. We talked about Fritz in Basel, ranked 9 in the world, the American there. Also beat Holger Rune, of course, in Rotterdam last year, who was ranked 7 in the world. Rune went through a little bit of a stage of handing out top 10 scouts, a bit like Tsitsipas for a while, who dropped outside the world's top 10 is 11, who he got past at the United Cup over in Perth. His other top 20 win coming for Shevchenko against Khachanov on his way through to that final in Metz in 23. Khachanov ranked 15 in the world, so he does have the class, but perhaps does need a little bit of a helping hand at times from some of the higher caliber players. Hasn't had that so far.
He's not seen a lot of second serves so far today. Hurkacz serving around about 70% first serves in play. It's tough sledding for a returner. Needs more of these opportunities to get at least back to even in these baseline exchanges and then look to be offensive. He's deep to return this serve. Just allowing Hurkacz to control the center of the court a little too much, though, Todd.
15 love.
Yeah, he is, but this is such an improvement from Hurkacz in terms of where his first strike goes. So he's setting himself up to be able to play 2-3 hit rallies and then get that ball to put away. That last shot is a little more what we saw in the previous 3 matches from Hurkacz, where he actually changes direction on the wrong ball. I think he's a little more disciplined today. He's playing into the right places. Well, that was a longer rally before he decided to go, but we saw that happening far too early, our first, second shots. He's got a little more confidence today, and I think he's starting to feel the ball off the racket better. The last thing to add, though, is that the weight of shot from Shevchenko is not bothering him at all. So he feels like he has more time to be able to stay in the rally. It's a different pace coming from Shevchenko than the other matches that I've sat courtside for Hubie so far in this tournament.
And it's interesting you say that. If there was a game to make for Shevchenko, he perhaps might look at his racket. It is a very stiff frame. It is the same frame that Dominic Thiem played. We've talked about the connection with Gunter Bresnik.
And team ball.
That same mate does produce different models that certainly could give him a few more kphs off the ground easily. See that backhand he missed on the previous point before the ace came down again, where he's trying to almost force it with his body and therefore losing control.
Well, that was some excellent striking from Hurkacz, and Nicolas Massu was out of his chair, pumping his fist and screaming encouragement. Just indicating, Hubie, those are the types of points we want you to play. Keep that forehand going cross court until you get something a little easier to change direction on. That's a nice response from Shevchenko. Needs to keep his nose in front in this set. Got down with the early break 2-love in the opening set and couldn't recover it.
openly this week with the ATP about how he's been inspired by Rybakina and her professionalism away from the court. He feels as though between the lines he's been like that for a long time, but maybe not living the same way away from the court. As the contest is starting to rev up.
At 30-15.
And I think this is better for Shevchenko. He's starting to really push Hurkacz a little more from side to side, and that's been more troublesome for him this week. You can't let him just stand through the center and be happy to, you know, hit balls without really getting some physicality into the point. So it's a pick up here.
At 14-15.
Давай, давай, давай.
Really impressive.
In Kazakhstan.
Some stand and deliver tennis there from Shevchenko at the end of that third game, and maybe just getting to grips with this unique style of play that Hurkacz brings to a tennis court. It's 2-1. Maybe that's why he's 3-0, because it is a slightly awkward style for him, as Jim was saying, that Hurkacz not one of the bigger hitters, so therefore he has to generate, as he managed to do there.
Yeah, but that was the best sequence of play from Shevchenko this match. From love 15 down, he made good choices and committed to his shots. And the accuracy then followed. Let's see if momentum carries, if he can get any kind of pressure into a Hurkacz service game.
Doesn't need to look too far in terms of good friends that return big serves well. He's good mates with Daniil Medvedev. Maybe that particular position on the court is somewhere he's going to need to explore if he's going to change things up here.
Time.
The most enthused and enjoyed he's looked on the court this week. Well, man maybe from Poland, but Jimmy's built a nice little place in South Florida, and he'll be used to these kind of warmish conditions as the day goes on. As we take a look at what he's been doing, he can roll it in at 2:07 when he needs to, but interestingly enough, he's dropped about 12 Ks on that first serve on the opening point of each game.
15 long.
And that's still 6 Ks under his actual average. So by even his high standards, that is a percentage serve rather than just pure power.
Shevchenko challenging him to hit the wide serve here. He was standing closer to the tee, and then when the ball toss went up, Shevchenko tried to cover the wide serve. Hurkacz was double crossing him, went up the tee, but couldn't handle the ground stroke. So we're starting to see a little bit of the cat and mouse play here from Shevchenko in the return of serve positioning. Mixing and matching a little bit. So if you watched Hurkacz play his first couple of matches, this forehand approach shot, he was trying to hit it into the backhand corner of righties, going against his normal pattern, which is what he just played, pulling it inside into the forehand. This is the right thing to do early in the season when you're making all those changes. Yes, I'm sure you're being encouraged to go different and make the improvements, but incrementally is better than all at once, and he was trying to do it all at once in the opening couple of matches. This is much better shot selection from him, and this is the first real moment of tension in his service game for quite some time. Shevchenko had a couple love 30s in the opening set, but Hurkacz has settled into a nice rhythm. What's he got here? 30-all.
Danger of overcommitting in your mind to what you think is your opponent's only shot rather than their favourite shot. Goes against the default setting that time and sweeps the winner into the opening space behind Shevchenko.
Love 15.
Got to be careful here. He doesn't dwell on that opportunity at 30-all. It wasn't the greatest serve that Hurkacz has hit, and he was so disappointed. And he's rushed the opening couple of points of this game.
Love 40.
Well, 3 unforgivable mistakes, 3 unforced errors for Shevchenko after playing such a great service game in his last one. Is handing over a break of serve here so far in this one. 3 break point chances for Team Poland.
What an athlete Hubert Hurkacz is.
Team Poland.
Flew through the air to pick up that volley, and he is flying through this match. A set and a break to the good.
Team Poland leads 3 games to 2.
Just take a look at how good that was. He has got some skills up at the net. He is one of the great trick shot kings out there on the ATP Tour. But there was nothing flamboyant about that. He just needed to find a way to get the ball back in the court. Shevchenko's disappointment is because he virtually broke himself. Is an infusion of enthusiasm and optimism.
He's a joyful type, is Nicholas Massou, and Hurkacz is a very gentle giant. But he's one of the guys that even when he loses a match, after about an hour or so, if you see him in the player area Most players, they want to stay to themselves in those moments. They're understandably disappointed and down. And Hurkacz comes over and he's shaking it off and he wants to know what's going on in your world and how are things. And he's a very open book in those moments, which is quite refreshing and unusual.
What, if anything, can Shevchenko do to rescue this situation? It's a good start to the 6th game.
Love 15.
Much needed.
Fifteen all.
Prolific amount of points coming into that Shevchenko forehand for Hurkacz with his first serve. More traffic
15.
going that way.
It's starting to feel a little bit more like the Hubert Hurkacz that we're used to seeing.
Game team Poland.
And it's immense.
Team Poland is 4 games to 2.
Always easy to see the 10,000 view when you come out in your opening couple of matches and look a little scratchy and optimism is high, all the changes, but he has settled very nicely in his last couple.
Maybe one of the most attractive things about starting a season at the United Cup is it does offer you a mulligan. All the other tournaments the players are playing, whether it's in Hong Kong or Brisbane or Auckland, you lose singles match, you're out, and you got to wait another week to find some confidence. And you can have some awful luck like Kyrgios had getting Pechi Pericard in the opening round. This is getting away from Shevchenko in a hurry. And look, these players all come from the off season, as abbreviated as it might be. They're all searching for matches in confidence, and getting multiple chances to play just helps build that rhythm. And eventually for Hurkacz, he has found, it seems like, what he was looking for. Here's a moment now for Hurkacz to really grab control of this one. 30, chance for a second break.
The personality of tournaments change, but not the dimensions, and this one has been the perfect offering at the start of the new season for Hurkacz. Pulling the trigger too often and too early in a rally has not proved to be a profitable play for Shevchenko. Facing break point again.
Use.
That was lovely and so vital for Shevchenko's chances just to hopefully keep him close here. What a great get from Hurkacz, and Shevchenko did what was needed. Get in tight to the net there and then hit the brakes, decelerate that shot, add in. Oh my goodness, what a horrible swing of the tennis ball there though. Todd, he may want to consider pulling that one inside in like Hurkacz likes to do.
Yeah, just sort of looking at him closely, he doesn't reset very well for each point. He just keeps playing. He's like he's rushed. It's like this intensity levels he's just not used to. Used to players giving him a bit more of a breather that he can control. Gibby's done a good day today in shutting that feeling down for him.
A bit of a strange brew as a player, Hurkacz, with that big serve and then the softer ground strokes, but when it all comes together, it's magic. And that's been the case today.
Your board, please.
Shevchenko can't let glove on Hurkacz. He'll serve to put Team Poland 1-0 up today.
Team Poland is 5 games to 2.
He's been very solid off both wings, and then he's seen an opportunity. He's been good enough to take it. As for Shevchenko, it's been kind of a high-risk strategy in this second set, but it's been far too much roadkill along the way. Some good tennis from Perth. He's outclassed today. Been a very nice takedown of Shevchenko by Hurkacz. Unquestionably his best performance of the United Cup this year. And with the blockbuster contest coming up after this one, with Rybakina up against Świątek, and Rybakina with that head-to-head lead over Świątek, this was a match they would be very keen to get on the board, and that's exactly what's about to happen.
50 love.
Hurkacz's first serve has really locked in this set, only missed 2. Up around 90% for serves in play. This is a march to success. And setting the table for Iga, who's on deck, as you say.
Oh. Front row seat for that one, Todd.
Well, how he managed to control that, I'm not sure. This was ripped hard down low, plenty of spin.
40.
And he just hits that stop volley. Look, you can see the racket just hit behind the ball, goes straight down and blocks it beautifully. Great hands.
It's been a masterclass. Match point. Luxuriated in the lead all the way through the contest.
6-3, 6-2.
Big gulf between them today. Hasn't always been in their past head-to-heads. Hurkacz was magnificent. Team Poland lead, 1-love.